let's kick it off. I'm going to throw this first question out. I'd like Brian and Kevin, and then maybe Owen, you could follow up. But why do you think the Cars world and these Cars come to life characters has resonated with moviegoers for over a decade now?
I think it's the characters. You know, I think there's an appeal and there's a realism. I think people relate to the characters. You know, and I think. When you come walk away from a movie, if it meant anything to you, if you cared at all, it's probably because you related to the characters and the lives, what they were going through, and you can see a little bit of yourself, see people that you know. I think at the end of the day, that's what we take away, and I think the Cars, you know, the characters and the Cars franchise has a lot of that to offer.
Being a gearhead, who doesn't like cars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it's also the animators, you know, did a pretty good job, because I know when they were first kind of animating the cars, you know, before they figured out where they were going to do the eyes and stuff, that they, you know, there's something, you know, that's kind of human or inviting about the expressions, and so I think that helps to kind of make the cars more relatable and lifelike to people. I think that's a big part of it. And the voice. The voices. You know? Don't forget these voices. Trying to pump a little life into this.
Great voices. In Cars 3, Lightning McQueen, his red-hot career suddenly takes an unexpected turn. Armie, tell us about the next-gen racers, and how does your character impact Lightning's world?
Oh man, it's definitely a change. You know, he's part of this class of racers called the next gen, and they're faster, they're smarter, they're better looking. Just saying. I mean, look at that thing. Look at it.
God, that does look pretty cool.
I want to put a motor in that thing and take it home.
Cristela, your character. Tell us about her, and how does she jump in to try and help Lightning McQueen?
Well, Cruz Ramirez is a great little character. I loved playing, and what I like about her is that she's very good at what she does, but at the same time, she still has doubts about herself regarding the same skill that she uses to coach the cars to become the best they can be. What I like about Cruz is that I think that she's very relatable to both boys and girls, in that you might have doubts about things and you don't know how you're going to pull something off, and at the end of the day you realize that the only way to make sure that you can do your best is to actually just go for it and trust your instincts. And I think that that's something that we all struggle with at times. It's the whole idea that you think you can do something and then you have doubts and you realize, forget the doubts, it's going to happen anyway. Let's just try our best and see what happens. And I love that about her.
Well, that's great advice. I think I'm going to tell that to Jeff Gordon next time I get on the radio with him, actually.
He's not returning my calls.
Yeah, he doesn't? When we're done, we'll give his phone number out to the press. And so, Cars 3 also features some really strong female characters. Kerry and Cristela. Yeah. How are your characters strong? Yeah.
I'll clap for that.
Yeah. Strong female characters. How is your character strong? Why is that important?
I'm just really happy to be a part of this franchise. I've been such a fan for such a long time, so it's just a pleasure to be a part of this family. But I do think it's fun to see women in the film who are brave and smart and courageous and also teachable. You know, women that balance having extraordinary talent and intellect, but also are humble enough to learn the lessons they have to learn by the end of the film, to learn that you have to step into your greatness, or to learn that it's not as simple as numbers, that heart and passion is the most important thing.
So Natalie Certain is humble even though she's always right.
Well, the movie humbles her. She's not humble in the beginning, for sure.
Cristela?
You know, what I like about this story and what I think I loved about Pixar creating this world in Cars 3 is that you actually see, we tend to forget that it really is about skill. We don't really reference that she is a girl. We don't reference that she's a female driver. We actually talk about how good she is, and we see it in the story. And it's one of those lessons that I think we tend to forget about, that it's not about a boy or a girl doing something. It's about the best person doing the best that they can. So I think that's such a great way to get a story about female empowerment by reminding everybody that we're all pretty much alike and we're all the same. And if you work hard and you have the skill, whoever is the best will win.
Another one of maybe the biggest theme in this movie is really about mentorship. So this is really for all of you, but we'll start down on the end with you, Kevin. Who's mentored you professionally or personally?
You know, I've been in animation for almost 30 years, and I worked with Kathleen Gavin on Nightmare Before Christmas, and I think how she rolled and how she treated the crew and supported her director was that she's my mentor, my inspiration.
Brian?
I think emotionally, my parents, my father and mother, were the first mentors. Professionally, John Lasseter and the late Joe Ranft. He was the head of story on the original Cars movie when I first came to Pixar and working under the two of them. What a wonderful, first thing to do coming into Pixar. They've given me a lot of career advice, and I wouldn't be where I am without them. So that's the definition of mentorship for me.
I'd probably have to say Shonda Rhimes, my boss at ABC on Scandal. And it's great to have a mentor who's a friend and a mentor, but I really look up to her as a leader and a mom and a citizen of the world.
You know, it's funny, in this job you get a chance to work with so many people, and so many people know so many things that you don't. So I feel like I've had so many different mentors along my career. So
including your crew chief in this movie.
Of course, yeah. As any good racer, they're nothing without their crew chief. So it'd be hard to pick one, but I feel like every time you work is an opportunity to sort of like get a new mentor for at least that period that you can learn something from.
I think that for me, my two biggest influences, one is my mom, who was an immigrant that came from Mexico and taught me, thank you, you've heard of it, and she is somebody that came to this country and sacrificed so much so that I would have this shot to live my dream, and it's something that we never thought was possible. And with her, I learned that hard work and being nice and really just giving it your all is the best way to succeed. And also, my drama teachers in school. In 8th grade, my drama teacher forced me to go into theater because he saw something in me and changed my schedule without me knowing, and told me that I had something. And I grew up in a border town, and acting is millions of miles away from that. And I always thought that I was going to end up doing a blue-collar job like everybody else in my family. And my teachers really taught me that if I wanted a dream, I could go do it, which I think is why I love this movie so much, because it has the same theme. So those two. Yeah. Top that, Owen.
Oh, I see everybody like nodding their head while you're talking, like, Preach.
Owen's mentor is my mother.
But yeah, what these guys are kind of saying, my parents, I think, sort of for, and I guess Jim Brooks is the person who brought us out to Los Angeles and gave us our big break, so certainly him. But yeah.
Those of you that are parents, this story is special. How does it resonate with you as a parent? Owen, let me start with you.
Well, yeah, I'm sort of a mentor to my kids.
Sort of?
Yeah. Depends what day you get me on. Today I am. And how does it resonate for me as a parent? Well, just that my kids are here today and they're running around the park and they're going to go to the premiere, so that's just exciting for me. And it'll be fun to watch the movie with them and get their reaction. And it just makes it, kind of a cool experience.
Armie?
Oh man, I have a young daughter who's almost a little too young, but she is starting to appreciate it, starting to appreciate movies. But the fact that there is sort of like a strong female figure who's told that you can do anything you want, like as a father to a little girl, I love that, and getting to be a part of a movie that can sort of carry on that message. I'm happy to be in that kind of movie.
Yeah, I had the treat of watching the film with my mother and my daughter, which was really special to have 3 generations of women watching this film that is so much about empowerment beyond gender, right? And inclusivity for women. And it was so special because it also really resonated for all 3 of us. And it's such an honor to be part of something that really embraces everybody's heart, you know? It's very special to be part of that as a woman and a woman of color. Because again, we don't say that Cruz is a Latina car, but I would venture with the name Cruz Ramirez that she might be a Latina. So it's just really exciting to be a part of that.
Brian.
Don't get me started on that. You know, my kids have influenced this movie so much. You know, I want my daughters to never be afraid to try something because they think they're not going to be good at it. You know, I never want to hear them say certain things are for boys and certain things are for girls. You know, and as a father, if I see that, you know, something I said or did had an impact on them, you know, and I see that they're a little better off, you know, than maybe before because of an interaction or a moment we shared together, that's for me, you know, that's what life's about. That's you know, it's the best part, and that's when I know that this is, you know, this isn't a good. I don't know what I would have otherwise been doing today, but I'm glad we did this because this is the main thing that life's about, and those are the moments, that we fight for and try to get on the screen.
Well, you've all done certainly a great job, not only on the film but answering these questions too, because it'll help me when my little girl starts asking me those questions here in a little bit. But right now, we've got some time so that you can ask our stars some questions. So the way it'll work is I will point to someone with a hand up. Someone who has money in their hand when they raise it will have a better shot of being called on. And someone will find you with a microphone. And but that lady on the end was first.
Thanks for calling on me because I'm representing Cristela's hometown newspaper, the Monitor in McAllen, Texas. So what would you like to specifically say to your family and friends that they'll read on Friday?
Oh my God. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part. Owen was talking. Okay. What would I like to tell my family and friends? People don't know this, but the area that I grew up with is called the Rio Grande Valley. The majority of the people that live there, when I was there, live well below poverty. I like this movie a lot because I feel like it's a good way to tell kids that they matter. And I think that growing up, when you come from a family that doesn't have a lot of times the parents forget to tell the kids that they matter because we're too busy trying to survive. And I want them to know back home, because my brothers still live there and I visit there often. I want people down there to know that it's possible to have a dream and actually achieve it, because every day I wake up so grateful that I have the opportunities that I have. And it came from living in an area where everybody is so warm, kind, and loving, that I want them to know that every day and every opportunity that I do, I carry that area with me because I know it's such a rarity. And I just love that I get the chance to do that, not only for my family, but for everybody there in my hometown.
All right, the man in the green shirt jumped the gun on us that time there. That was actually a little bit of a false start, but we won't call that one back.
Hi, this is for Owen and Cristela. What do you think, the core of the movie, I think, is your friendship and how when he needed you and you needed him, you both helped each other. And I think that's a very strong message too. If you just want to elaborate on that as far as friendship and as far as sometimes a word or just one person believing in you can make a difference.
Sure. Well, I think that sort of also goes back to, you know, that the mentor question and what you were saying about your hometown, that idea that, you know, that we all do need encouragement and that everybody sometimes, you know, falls a little short or fails, and the idea that we're sort of part of a community. And I think that's a really important message for everybody to kind of feel like, and I know, you know, just we did work together. You know, most of the time we're recording by ourselves, but I think that you guys wanted us to record one day just to sort of, because of what you're saying, because that is a big part of the movie, is the support that, you know, that you give me, and then I hopefully give you. Yeah.
I think that one thing that I love about this relationship, again, I think that this movie resets so many relationships on such a strange and unique level, where it's interesting and refreshing to see a relationship between a boy car and a girl car, and they're not romantic. And it's actually a sincere mentorship, because you realize that you can actually help each other, and you can have that friendship, and you can have that connection. And I've been thinking about this story a lot. What I love about it is that it also shows that you can't dismiss somebody that's younger or has inexperienced or more experience. I think that the lesson in this story is actually knowing that we each have something to learn from each other. And that's, again, very telling to something that we can apply in life in general, is that you can't dismiss the kids that like iPads, and you can't dismiss the people that grew up with VCRs.
Amen. The lady with the green band, I thought that was a $5 bill, but it's a green band, but okay.
You take credit cards?
I do.
You know, so, okay, hi, sorry. Hi, I'm Devette with Black Girl Nerds. Hey, all right. Y'all saw that, right? Okay.
I think I follow you, actually.
Yeah, I do.
Thank you. I just have to say, first of all, you know, I saw the screening, and I was shouting, and I thought, this is Pixar's Wonder Woman. I actually, because I know you said that, yes, it's about everybody finding their strength, and certainly there was, you know, people reinventing themselves in a very positive way, but that was a powerful message for little girls. And so, you know, I know you were answering, yeah, it's for everybody. No, it's for little girls. So I want to thank you for that. Also, how do you feel like the message is going to not just resonate for little girls, but in a way also for little boys? Do you feel it's going to cross that line effectively? I mean, a little boy's going to say, no, I don't want to see a movie about a little girl car. How are you think that you're going to approach that?
Well, you know, I can tell you that just because I come from stand-up, my approach with stand-up has always been to try to be very personal about my stories. And what I like to do is, for me personally, I always approach stand-up in not trying to be so specific that you let people feel like they don't get it or it's not for them. So when I think about your question, it's not really about boys and girls. For me personally, I actually approach it as a economic level. So I actually, because I grew up so poor, that I want poor kids to know that they have a shot at doing it. So for me, I think the lesson surpasses gender and actually goes to the childhood that somebody has. I mean, I didn't know I was poor when I was a kid because my mom did such a good job of making me love life. It wasn't until I started telling stories as an adult that my friends are like, you were poor. You know what I mean? So for me, I think that, like, I love that you said that this is Pixar's Wonder Woman, because for me, I think that we don't have enough stories about female characters actually in a world with male characters where they get to succeed in a way that isn't romantic or anything. It's just being empowered and succeeding. And so I think it surpasses gender. For me, it's just anybody, any kid that feels disenfranchised, disappointed, feels like they don't belong, feels like, you know, what's the point? This is the story for them. For me, this is a story about hope. And we need more stories like that, because the kids are the ones that grow up and they're the ones that take over the country.
I think there are a lot of people who feel like an outsider, and I think that because the film is so grounded, no matter what the specifics are about why you feel like an outsider, or why you feel like other, or why you feel disenfranchised or unrepresented, no matter what that looks like for you, you can identify with Cruz. So I think it will resonate with all kinds of people. And I think one of the reasons why we say it's for everybody is because what's so special to me about this film is not that the girl beats the boy, but that they win together. And I feel like that's such an important message, that she wins, but that they win together, that there's room for the mentor and the mentee, there's room for the girl and the boy, there's room for the champion and the newcomer, and that if we work together, there's room for everybody at the table. And I think that's one of the most special things about the film.
It's great stuff. These guys were we got time, I think, for one more. And even though, even though the ladies back there were waving money, now I don't know if they were waving at me or Owen and Armie, I don't know. But the young lady in the front row has had her hand up for like 27 minutes. So you go, girl.
Thank you. Hi, my name's Colette. I thought the film was really fantastic, and it delivered many different messages to many demographics. And as a female in the entertainment industry, I felt that the message delivered through Cruz was very powerful and will resonate with your female audience. But what I liked most about it was the way the message was delivered, and it was done with heart, and it wasn't so much like we were being hit over the head with this important message, because whilst important, you know, it didn't feel like a lecture. And I wanted to know, maybe this is more directed to Brian, can you talk a little bit about why this was an important subject for Pixar to tackle with the film, and what steps you and your team took from a creative perspective to deliver this message in the way you did?
Well, the way we delivered it is just, thank you for that, that's very nice, by the way. A lot of trial and error. we spent a lot of years trying to figure out the best way to tell the story. But it was an important message. It was a very important movie for me personally and for us studio. Again, coming at it from a parent. You know, I'm inspired. There are certain scenes with McQueen and finding out what he meant to Doc Hudson character, to finding out that he was the most important thing in Doc's life. You know, that's a scene that I had with my kids when I realized that being their father was the most important thing in my life. It's a very personal story to try to get as a parent going through transitions, right? And but also just having two daughters and just, again, wanting them to have the freedom and the courage to do whatever they want without any barriers. And if there are barriers, you know, what do they need to break through the barriers? These are the things we tried to get into the film. And as far as thank you for the comment about not lecturing, because you have an experience in life and you just want to share it, and you hope that an audience can walk away with a similar emotion. I mean, I think our job is really just to share something, and I hope people feel the same thing. It was all trial and error of when did these transformations happen on the screen? When do we plant the seeds? When do they grow? We tried to relax with the storytelling. We tried to, on purpose, be very, wait, let it happen naturally in the story. We're always just trying to tell a story. We're trying to put characters in what we feel is a natural environment and see how they react. So I hope I answered your question. Yeah.
Well, thank you. We've got to let this group go and be ready for our second group. Thank you all very much. Great job, and look forward to seeing you a little bit later. We all know these guys, and you know how it works because we were just in here, but pretty amazing group. And I'm going to just throw out some questions again like we did before, so we leave plenty of time for y'all to ask some stuff. And y'all, that was a NASCAR term, in case you were paying attention there. But, do
they want me to do this with my shirt on or off?
I'm not sure what they want, but I can tell you what we want.
Is this where we vote?
I'm going to throw this out to Brian and then over to you, Larry. What's your first memory of the Cars world, and why do you think it has stood the test of time?
Well, my first memory, I came through the doors at Pixar. My first job at Pixar was on the first Cars film with John Lasseter. And I was a storyboard artist. So my first memory is sitting in story reviews with John and the whole story crew, just trying to figure out ways to make each other laugh around the table, and drawing lots of drawings, jokes and gags, pinning them on the wall, and just trying to absorb everything I could because I couldn't believe I was there. And I think these movies stand the test of time. These characters, I think it's about the characters. I think it's about everyone can relate. Everyone can relate to these characters, and they're appealing to look at. But more importantly, when they go through life and they talk and they make jokes and they come up against struggles and challenges, you know, I mean, everyone can see themselves, I think, in one of these characters.
What about you, Larry? What's your first memory of the Cars world, and why do you think it's stood the test of time?
Well, I think people can relate to the characters, first of all, and it's just, they're just fun movies. You know, they have a lot of heart in them. I think as far as my character goes, I think a lot of people would like to have a neighbor like Mater. I mean, he's dependable and he's lovable and he's sweet, and he may not be the smartest, you know, fork in the knife drawer, but he's a faithful guy, and that's what everybody would like to have. And it's just kind of cool seeing the progression and seeing how these movies just go through. They grow, you know, they're growing old like everybody else is, you know, and it's just cool to see. It's you know, I mean, Cars has been around a long time, so I think people just relate to it, and it's really cool to see every movie in the different situations. Great.
Well, I'm going to throw this out to Isiah and to Kevin, but Cars 3 spotlights the next generation of race cars, or racers, but it also shows how important those who raced before how it is to not forget those people. Why do you think the balance between old and new is important, not just in racing, but beyond racing in life?
Well, because I really feel that we need to pay attention to a lot of the pioneers, a lot of the people who have come before us, and some of the struggles, especially with the character that I play, Wendell Scott. We need to pay attention to that to see how we got to where we are today. And I know with Wendell Scott, River Scott that I play, he did not have the sponsors and the equipment and especially racing in the segregated South. There were so many obstacles, and yet he was able to persevere. And I think that's the key word there is perseverance, overcoming a lot of those obstacles to be successful. So we kind of deal with that sort of the heart of racing when we think about racing, and we think about the passion and the heart and what it's all about. I think the character that I play exhibited that over time.
And made an incredible impact on our sport. And it's a coincidence that this weekend, another young man, the second African-American to ever win at NASCAR's high level, will be driving for the King Richard Petty this weekend. And that was from the foundation groundwork that people like Wendell Scott have done.
But the one thing that I really took away from it is I was overwhelmed by the passion and the love of the sport. I don't think I'll ever look at NASCAR again the same way, because, you know, I'll be the first to admit I didn't quite understand it. But I thought that after studying Wendell Scott and studying NASCAR and studying some of these pioneers, people who have come before, I really got a great education as far as NASCAR and racing and the passion of racing and what it's all about.
And Kevin, what do you think?
We did a lot of research and these wonderful stories that came forward, and we were so inspired by the stories of Louise Smith and Wendell Scott, and Junior Johnson's still alive and kicking and funny, and so we just felt we wanted to honor them with our story and their backstory.
And I'm going to throw this one out for Nathan, because we haven't spoke with you yet, and then Larry again, but why is it so easy for us to forget that these characters are cars? Is it because we recognize our neighbors and cousins and friends up on the big screen?
That's the idea, isn't it? That's the design. We do that suspension of disbelief, the idea that Superman can put on glasses and nobody recognizes him. We just kind of forgive, okay, this is a world of cars. We forgive that immediately, and we're in. We've bought a ticket. We're saying we're willing to dismiss our conceptions. Yes, Larry, wasn't that exactly what you were going to say?
That was what I was thinking. Same thing.
The same thing?
Took the words right out of my mouth.
I love you, Larry. I love you. But all the NASCAR guys, everybody said, make sure when you get out to tell Larry, get her done. So they're at Pocono Racing this week, and everybody's thinking about you, man.
I love him. I've been a fan forever, so I'm a big NASCAR fan. Been trying to tell everybody it's a great sport. See, it's a great sport, isn't it?
It is.
Lea, your character, Mrs. Fritter, gives new meaning to school buses. What did you think of that character when you first seen it? And in the fall, will kids be thinking twice about getting on the school bus?
I think they will run to get on the school bus after seeing Miss Fritter. Yeah. So I don't think that's going to be an issue with the kids at all. I just thought she was amazing and so much fun. And these guys are just awesome, and they let you play around so much when you're on the mic. So they would be like, here, read those lines, and then if you got something, throw it out. I think we all did it. And that's, for me, that's gold. I've been a stand-up my whole life, so I was having a great time working with them and bringing life to her. Because, you know, she'll fritterize you. Love her.
Brian, how's that happen? Miss Fritter.
You know, it's a demolition derby. School buses are a part of, they're a thing. But we needed a voice that could keep up with the character. And so we called on Lea. And our sessions were so much fun because, yeah, we'll get with the words on the page, but the only time in animation to actually get some true, you know, improv and some into the medium is in the recording booth. So that is when we can play. And I don't know how many times we have gone off the map in a recording and then gone back and changed the pages later to account for something that happened, something magical that happened in the recording booth.
Nathan, Isiah, Lea, and Kevin, Story's king at Pixar. What is it about Pixar's style of storytelling that makes the films and characters so compelling? We'll start with you, Nathan.
Here's my theory. Nothing happens by accident in a Pixar movie. They tell a story one pixel at a time. So by the time it gets to the point where I'm sitting there in front of the microphone, all the hard work has actually been done. I rely very heavily on the director. We get to play around a little bit, but in all honesty, you're looking at a Thanksgiving meal, and Nathan is the pepper. You know what I mean? The work has kind of been done. Just need a little pepper, buddy, and you're done.
Lea?
I agree.
Thank you.
Once again, words right out of my mouth.
He agrees with everybody. Don't worry about it.
For me, I just love Pixar. It's magical, and every time I've seen any Pixar movie, I'm beyond excited to watch it. I'm always there the second it opens. It just transforms us all back to our childhood, I think. I mean, I'm just a kid screaming and laughing at whatever's happening. And I mean, that's why this is dream come true for me to be in a Pixar movie. So, you know what I mean? And that's because I love it. I just love sitting there and remembering that. It just takes me right back. I just went to see New Kids on the Block, the Boys to Men, and Paula Abdul. But I went for Paula Abdul and Boys to Men. I'm a lot older than the New Kids on the Block fans. And I was in a stadium with 40 to 45-year-old women screaming like they were 10 years old again or 12 years old. And that's the way I feel when I see a Pixar movie. I'm like, I'm just 10 years old watching that movie again. It's great.
Isiah?
I'm always amazed at how they're able to cross the line and humanize some of these characters, you know. At first I got, you know, when I would watch it, I would get a little scared because I would forget that it was animation. I would forget that they're cars. And you start to really care, and you have these emotional feelings about a lot of the characters. And I find that just fascinating, you know, that you're able to do that. And I've seen that in every Pixar movie.
Kevin?
My favorite is when we've had a couple of comments where people have come up and said, I was crying over a car. Come on. Wow, you kill me. And then I'm like, yeah, we did right. We did it right.
I've cried over a few cars in my career, Kevin. All right, so we're going to go back. You all know how this works. And, you know, Larry, I thought they were holding up money for me, but it was for Owen and Armie. But we'll have some time. Let's go to the gentleman in the blue on the end there.
Thank you very much. My name is Alex, writing from laughingplace.com. As a ginormous Disney dweeb, I almost had a brain aneurysm when Larry the Cable Guy started singing the Humphrey Hop with altered lyrics. So I just have to know, how did that obscure song get plucked out and put in this mainstream movie, and the lyrics and all that, because it was amazing, and I really appreciate it for it.
That, I watched a lot of TV when I was a kid, and Disney Channel, where my parents had cable really early on, and the Humphrey Hop, it's one of those songs. Now I'm 43 years old, and I still, a week doesn't go by that I'm not singing that tune in my head. It's just ingrained. It's a childhood favorite. So yeah, we rewrote the lyrics, but that song, it's just one of those moments where you kind of realize, well, I'm directing the movie. I can do whatever I want. I want the Humphrey Hop in there.
We gotta pay for it. That's my job.
I'm glad somebody else recognized it and got something out of it, because I thought that was just for me.
You are a fan.
All right, we've got this lady over here. Now, I was going to say the lady with the green band, but you know they all got green bands on? There you go.
Hi, Luca was in the movie. This movie was so much fun. Lea, I think Mrs. Fritter needs her own spin-off. So, well.
You know who to talk to.
Right?
I couldn't agree more. So does my accountant and my landlord.
Watch for the DVD extras.
Secondly, the ending is quite a surprise. So I'm wondering how much discussion took place to get to that point without giving it away.
Lots of discussion.
We in true Pixar fashion, I think we ended this movie at one point or another in all the evolution. We tried everything you could possibly try. We make the movie many, many, many times, over and over and over. We tried a lot of things, and it was always inching towards that ending, little by little, little by little. Well, now I feel something. Let's go a little further, and the end result is what's on the screen. But it's part of the evolutionary process.
The lady, reddish hair and glasses there. Just...
First of all, congratulations, all of you. An amazing job. Nathan, you are fabulous as Sterling.
Thank you.
Yes. But I have to ask all of you, we've talked about the history of NASCAR that's brought into the film. There's cinematic history that you bring back, and that is a very integral part of Cars 3, and that is Paul Newman as Doc Hudson. Would our filmmakers talk about the decision to bring Doc in such a prominent role, using Paul Newman's voice, and also for the actors? Did you ever think you'd be in a film and have a credit with Paul Newman?
Good question.
No.
Absolutely.
I think I'd be in a film.
Fair enough.
We were really lucky. John Lasseter ran on Cars 1, kept the mic open, and we had all this wonderful things, and we did transcriptions, and the Newman's Own Foundation was so terrific in supporting us and knew that we were trying to be as respectful as possible with Mr. Newman's performance, and that we weren't just, kind of doing it
We had
lightly.
hours of voice on tape to kind of comb through and find what was going to help us tell this story, because there's some nuggets in there we couldn't use because they weren't helpful to telling the story. But I feel extremely fortunate that we got the right things. We got exactly what we needed, and we're just lucky at the end of the day.
We also went to the original Click and Clack tapes to try to pull some lines from Tom Magliozzi, who passed away. So out of respect.
We will go back over to this side. Young lady right here. No, you look at her. Not the one. You stand. There you go. Yeah, you. Winner. Waiting for your mic.
Hi everyone, I'm Cassandra Shaw from LA Times High School Insider. And in the movie, you see these cars take a very unconventional approach to their training to sort of get ahead in the race. So I was wondering, in your career, in your own path, what is something that you had to approach in an unconventional method?
I think acting is a strange career to begin with, and I think any process by which we do our jobs is a little unusual. We're pretending for a living, honestly. It's not rocket science or construction, it's pretending. I think that that's a little weird in itself, and I love it.
Yeah, I have to agree. I've always found it just the whole experience, and being an actor is just unconventional. The things I've had to do.
It's crazy, right?
And I can say I'm not proud of it. Some I am, but some, you know, where, you know, that's gonna maybe go into the book. But the whole experience has always been very unconventional. But it's been a joy, you know, the people I've met, the things I've done, places I've been. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Black and white? I can't see that far. That might be gray. That's what happens when you get old. You lose your color focus.
You got it right.
Okay.
All right. Sarah Woloski from Skywalking Through Neverland podcast. And I would love to know any of the newer cars in this film who were introduced, like Nathan Fillion. Were you guys able to have any say in the design of your cars at all, and what kind of car you picked in the color?
No, we were not.
No, but I gotta say, they nailed the eye color on Sterling. Incidentally, only reason the Sterling car isn't here right now is because it's actually so nice someone's out driving it.
They used my high school on the side of the bus, which I think is amazing. And the license plate is it my birthday? It's my birthday.
And state.
And like but it wasn't like I didn't call them up, I won't do it unless my birthday is a license plate. They called me and said, what's your birthday? What high school did you go to? And then the next thing I knew, I was actually saying my high school when at the script, and it was on the bus, and I just think that's kind of great.
You're gonna be awesome at your reunion.
Oh, I will be king of the reunion.
I love my car. I love my car. They got the brown eyes, they got the mustache with the grill and everything like that, so I was very happy with it.
And capture that 37 Ford flatback modified. That's what Wendell used to drive with that number 34 on it. And I love that little part on the back where it says pit crew, me, because he didn't even have a pit crew. He used to pull in from the race, stop in the pits, get out and change his own tires, get back in and go out and race everybody. He was an amazing guy. There was a lady way in the back there, just under the cameras.
Can you hear me? Okay, there we go. Hi. First, I just want to say, Lea, congrats on Orange and this movie. It's awesome, and Mrs. Fritter is awesome. But I have a NASCAR question. So I've been teased a lot because I've been obsessed with NASCAR. I'm like the only one in my family that even knows, you know, Dale Earnhardt and everybody. And I used to dream of actually being, sorry, now I'm getting nervous. You know, a pit crew chief, and used to, you know, just pretend to have the little radio when I used to watch Dale Jr. and his dad and everything. And now with like the rise of Danica and more women in actual NASCAR events, do you think there would ever be, you know, a pit crew boss as a lady or a crew chief as a lady? And do you expect that to be on the rise now that there's more and more drivers?
Well, yeah, I don't think it. I know it. I don't know how soon. I don't know when the first lady crew chief. We have lady drivers. We have ladies on pit crews right now. Currently at Hendrick Motorsports, where I still spend a lot of my time, our lead aerodynamic engineer is a lady. Our lead engineer, or one of our best engineers from General Motors, is a lady. And as the sport evolves, there are more and more opportunities engineering-wise for ladies to become involved, and you're seeing more and more ladies who want to be involved. So I have a 2-year-old daughter as well, and I fully expect her to be the first lady winner of the Daytona 500 someday. So, you know, to answer your question, I think it's great, and again, that's another thing that I think our friends at Pixar have really done a great job in showing exactly what's going on in NASCAR with Cruz Ramirez, because we have a lot of ladies behind the scenes that are starting to come to the forefront. So it won't be long before you see those ladies leading teams and leading laps on the racetrack. You, sir.
Derek Clemens with the Pixar Podcast. For Larry,
you have had, Mater has been the focus of Cars 2 and a lot of shorts. In this film, he's a little bit less in the spotlight, and I just wondered if you were a little bit sad about that.
I think Mater's got a good role in this. Mater does what he's supposed to do. You know, just when you're about to cry, Mater says something stupid, and then you laugh again. So there you go. No, Mater, there's no Cars without Mater. That's what it's all about. It's about McQueen and Mater and what's going on in their lives. And I don't care if Mater's got one line. If Mater's Mater, he'll always be Mater. So, no. So it doesn't. I mean, you're getting me confused for somebody that really, you know. I mean, I'm in a Pixar movie. I mean, that's flipping awesome, dude. You know, why would I care?
Let's go with this lady right in the front here.
Thank you. To segue to that, my name is Kathy with Bel Air Mommy, and my son recently, we got him the tow meter that can actually has the hook, and I sat in a little spinner, and tow meter was towing me. He goes, "Mama, Mater can even tow you." And I was like, "Oh my God." So my son absolutely loves your character.
Well,
so.
tell him I hope you're okay from sitting on the hook.
All righty then. Okay, so with that, we're going to have to move this group out. I hope you all enjoyed everything. Thank you all very much.
I love that. Made me so happy.